Good afternoon, or morning, or night, or wherever you're at, whenever you're at. Um, Today I want to talk about the fact that the world is lacking in what you have. So, when you are looking at a situation and there's something about it that doesn't sit right with you, there's something a little deeper that has to do with that, something deeper inside of you. You're supposed to create what you believe is lacking. When you have an inkling or desire to do that, but no one has done it before, that's all the more reason to do it because you're creating something that's unique to you. And the reason why you have that foresight of something needs to change here or something is lacking here, it's because it's lacking in you and it's for you. It's literally a situation that's presented to you for you to do something about. And you might think, like, well, if you don't do it, then someone else will. But how do you know that? Because love is a gift. No one has to do anything. No one has to create. No one has to show love. But when you do it for yourself, then it can also be a really firm way of gaining fulfillment and energy. So I think that as a society, we should chase self expression and we should chase that which has not been created because every trendsetter had to take that leap of faith and do something that was out of the ordinary. So before you put a bunch of standards on what you want to do, before you create limits for yourself by saying, well, I just need to do this first or I just need to do that first. Sometimes preparation is good, right? Sometimes preparation can help us succeed in what we're doing, but a lot of times preparation is not needed as far as it's taken. So we use it to delay what it is we need to do. And oftentimes, when you do something, you see all the ways that it could be better, but no amount of preparation will get you to a point that what you create is perfect. Because art is not meant to be perfect, creation is not meant to be perfect. The reason that it's not perfect and the reason why you have perfectionism is because you're supposed to look at the things that you've done and see all of the things that you can do to make it even better because it's fun. Because perfectionism is just the part of you that gives you ideas. It says, oh, I'm not satisfied with this. But you can be satisfied with what you've done already by saying, that was the step that I needed to take in order to open up my mind to more possibilities. Because there's often those barriers. And that's why I say time exists for the purpose of faith. And it also exists for the purpose of experience. We experience new things, novel things, and humans need that. We literally have chemicals in our brain that thrive off of that because it connects us with our spirits and who we are. And it's just one more way to express who we are. So, when you want to do something that's unique to you, that no one has ever done before, that you don't see anywhere else, but you know that it should exist, it's not as unique as you might think. And what I mean by that is when you do something that no one has done before, it is going to send out a ripple effect through inspiration because people will see you doing it and it will give them permission in a way to do things that are similar to it or just straight up do what they want to do that resonates with them, but it was put forth by your willingness to just go for it. And that kind of act is really powerful. And when you do that, you can connect with people and you also lift the burden off of their fear by saying, I did it first, therefore, I have practiced the self acceptance that it takes to take that leap of faith, and you can be accepted too, because that's all we're really craving, right? As people, the reason that we're scared to do things is because we fear that we won't be accepted. We fear that we won't be cherished or appreciated. But when you have that appreciation for yourself and that acceptance for yourself, you naturally draw people in that do the same because you resonate with that. You're like, wow, thank you for appreciating it. Because there's a part of you that is already appreciating yourself, and that part of you wants to be validated. And when that gets validated, it can be really powerful because it already came from you, and now it's mirroring itself back to you through other people and through love. And that's the great thing about love, is that you can literally hear God's voice through the people who love you. You can hear things that touch you so deeply in your heart that it's godlike. It's holy and special. You don't necessarily have to do these things. You don't necessarily have to put yourself out there. Like I said, love is a gift. And so whatever you give is great. That's great. And it's so much more powerful than anything that you might have taken or the bad things that you've done. It's more powerful than that. And it always will be. Love will always be more powerful. So when you see that something is lacking, connect with what your heart is truly saying. What is your heart really wanting out of the situation? Why do you feel that it's lacking? Dive deeper into it because there's something there. It's imperative to living connected to be doing these things. When you love yourself, you connect with others. When you love the parts of yourself that no one has accepted, that's because you were meant to accept it first. And then other people can have an easier time accepting themselves. And you can also accept other people even better. And it just kind of creates this loop of love. And it's really a cool thing because from you going out on a limb, from you taking that leap of faith and doing what it was that you felt other people should be doing, maybe. Like a lot of people will criticize instead of doing. It's because they haven't connected love to the part of themselves that criticizes. Um, because criticism is a way of connecting with what you desire. Criticism is an opinion that you have, and it's a part of yourself that is one of those dark tunnels that I talked about in the last episode. How you can sort of fall into this dark tunnel, but you can choose to walk out of it with a light illuminating all of it. And criticism is one of those things. Criticism is perfectionism and unsatisfied um, unacceptance of the self. And that's why I believe that perfectionism is also, you're connecting with yourself, but it's through shame and it's through negative emotion, but you can transform it into something that is more powerful. And you can say, okay, this perfectionism might be making me feel these things, but the way that I'm going to use it is I'm going to take the ideas that I got, and I'm not going to feed into the shame of what I've already created, because I can just do it again, but better. You can just do everything that you've done again, but better. No one will notice. That's the thing. No one's going to notice. You know how many times it takes to say the same thing over and over for it to actually resonate with the amount of people that it's supposed to? It takes a lot of times, and you just keep getting better and better and better. Whatever you do once, you can do twice, but better the next time. So never worry about the first draft. The fact that you're doing the first draft means that you're accepting the fact that you can take steps towards what it is that you want. You putting that action forth and then getting that feeling of, oh, I don't like how this and this and this and, oh, you get that feeling. I get it too. My last episode, I'm like, it's not my favorite, but it gave me so many ideas. It literally, all week long, I was thinking, what do I want my next episode to be about? Like, what do I want to talk about? I don't know. And then a part of me just said, pick one and go from there. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just pick one. And I had all these ideas and all of these standards for what I wanted to create. But when you just create without those standards, unstandardized creations give way to beautiful art. And another synonym for unstandardized is unorthodox or non-conforming. And when you don't conform because you've practiced that self-acceptance through your actions, you create a new space for creation to thrive, for people to look at and say, oh, I can do that too. I can do something there. I can work from that. And you don't necessarily have to feel like it's valuable. You don't necessarily have to feel like you believe. You don't necessarily have to feel the things that you want to feel when stepping out and doing these things. Um, because we don't operate off of feelings, we operate off of what we want to feel based on our values. If I don't feel the belief in myself, but I do things that show that I believe in myself, even if I don't feel it, the feelings catch up over time. The feelings catch up with your actions. So when you do something, it's supposed to say something about your values. And it's supposed to say something about how you want to feel. And you don't necessarily have to feel that way right away. You can act first, feel later, and deal with those feelings as they come. For example, with my last podcast and with a lot of things that I've been creating lately, I've been going out on a limb, and the feelings that I get, I be cringing. Oh, I be cringing. I'm like, I can, because there's a part of me that's like, you can do better. So instead of cringing, I'm just gonna keep going. I'm just gonna keep going and work off of my values and what I truly believe. Because when I have those in order and I act off of those, the feelings follow suit. And so you don't necessarily have to be totally in what you're doing. You just have to do it. And in that, you connect with yourself through action, which makes everything clearer. It makes all the ideas flow. It makes way for more creation and more self-expression. And that's all it really is connecting with the self and self-expression. And through that, you can connect with others. And sometimes people will want you to do things because they can see a part of you that you might not be able to. And other times, people will want you to do things because they want to do those things, but they don't have the faith and they think that they can't. They haven't worked out that belief yet and said, I'm going to stand up to this fear. And when you do it for them, even if it's not aligned with you, it makes way for their creation. And there are often times where someone will tell someone else to do something specifically because they want permission to do it. And you don't necessarily have to do that for them. But like I was saying earlier, flourishing in connection can really have to do with how much you face your fear and create, because your energy is limitless, it's abundant. So even if you're creating something that doesn't necessarily resonate with you, if you do it to resonate with another person, you can grow through that. A lot of people have told me to do a lot of things, and even though I didn't really want to do them, I kind of got out of this feeling that it would drain me, and I started believing that my energy was abundant. And I started to learn a lot because they weren't just trying to help themselves thrive, they were also trying to help me expand. And by me taking that opportunity, because it is an opportunity when someone asks you to do something or create something, I learn and I expand. And it's one more thing that I do, and I can look at myself and say, I'm able to do that. And it's just another way to prove to yourself one more loving belief. So when we prove to ourselves through action what we can do even more. And it just keeps expanding and expanding and expanding. And it gets really exciting. It's honestly, it's scary, but it's exciting. And you're supposed to do things that excite you. You're supposed to do things that energize you, because that's what makes the world go round. We talk about energy and consciousness and dark matter. Um, that all connects through love and excitement and enjoyment and fun. You can generate so much through doing what it is that you think the world is lacking in. You can also work from a place of darkness, because oftentimes we escape to art when we are really feeling it. And that is sometimes when the best art is made. So when we don't believe in ourselves, and when everything is just kind of crashing down, we can also connect to creation in those moments. And those can help us realize that all feeling and all energy is just feeling and energy. And you can transmute it into whatever you want. And you can create whatever it is that you want. And so when there's something that has never been created before, you might as well be the first to do it. You also have to have the humility it takes when you are creating and it's not right. Use humility, use the humble steps, and understand that things aren't going to come out perfect right away. It's not meant to be perfect right away. You're supposed to experience each step. Whatever level you start at with your creation, oftentimes the beginning stages are actually really fun. I heard a quote that said, take 3 tries of doing something to decide if you like it. Because by the third try, you normally start kind of getting the hang of it. Once you get the hang of it, it gets really fun. And that's when you start getting all those ideas, right? And you start to be able to kind of freestyle it. And it took that initial step of, I'm going to do this even though I suck at it because I want to do it. Or sometimes other people will want you to do things because they want to see someone else suck at it so that they have permission to also suck at it. And then you guys are both hanging out in this area of beginner and no judgment, because how can you compare when you both suck? So it totally erases all comparison. It allows you to grow without criticism. It allows you to learn without comparison. And it takes that initial choice. Everything takes that choice and it takes a little bit of energy out of you. But that energy is abundant. It's not going to go away. So when you do things that are meant for you to do, you're going to go to sleep that night and you're going to get the energy back the next day. So just do it. And it might take up a lot of space in your mind, but that is just your mind's way of protecting you because you simply need to practice that self acceptance through action. Our minds get really used to doing things that are familiar and doing things that we're good at because we know we'll be accepted in them. But when you do it first, when you accept yourself first by acting first, even if you don't feel the acceptance, even if you don't feel good about it, you're still supposed to just do it because that's how you prove it all to yourself. So prove to yourself that you can do it. Prove to yourself that you can be the first. Prove to yourself that you can do things in faith and then believe later and form new beliefs through your actions and your creations. If you really think about it, everything is an act of creation. And the world is lacking in your type of creation. And that's why you're here. I think everyone has a purpose to create. What is it that you want to create, though? Do you want to create a good workspace? Do you want to create a life with a lot of riches, as in family, friends, relationships? Do you want to create better conversations with the people that you connect with? Do you want to create more art? Do you want to create more things that are teal? Do you want to create something that has an energy about it? Just chase it. Just do that. Start at level 1 and don't be ashamed. I think that's all. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. As always, I had fun filming and I really like to put my ideas out there. I hope that they're helpful to whoever listens. Um yes, thank you very much. Thank you to whoever watches these. I really appreciate you. And I still really appreciate all the people that encouraged me to do this in the first place because I'm having a lot of fun and it's a good experience for growth and expansion. I feel like I'm expanding through this. So, thank you. And I'll see you on the next episode. I don't know when it'll be. I'm just going with the flow. That's how I operate. So, I'll see you when our rivers cross paths.